Hey guys, thanks for being here once again. Today I'm doing a video I haven't done in a little while. We are doing a buy this, not that, because there are so many hot luxury items right now. They're really expensive, and I thought we could talk about some really good designer dupes at way better prices to get you the look for less. So let's just jump right in. Before we get into my list, I really want to talk about Urban Revivo, who you guys know, I've been working with them for a long time. We have a really good relationship. I am really into this brand, and I actually decided to make this buy this, not that video based on the items I'm going to show you today from Urban Revivo. This is actually the best Urban Revivo little lookbook I've ever done. In fact, I even have a WhatsApp chat with someone from the brand who I've been communicating with this whole time, and I just had to let her know how amazing this latest Urban Revivo collection is. I thoroughly love every single piece I'm going to show you today. And I really wanted to do a buy this, not that with this collection because so many of the pieces legitimately look like high fashion designer. I'm serious, I've never been this excited when doing these fashion lookbooks. And I really love doing them. It's like my favorite thing to do is like styling clothes, wearing them, showing you guys what I'm wearing and how I'm wearing it. But this one just really excited me that much more because so many of these pieces look like some of my favorite designers. I gotta start with this incredible dress. So I took this out of the package when it was delivered to me and I'm like, this is such a winner. Instantly gave me Prada vibes. No one would ever question that. It looks high end, it looks super expensive, and of course it looks very fashionable. It's like that nylon Prada fabric, but it's also very Prada aesthetic. This is all season for me. I can rock this spring, summer with tights, fall, winter. Perfect, so me, so my vibe, so good. And then this two-piece set, I just really want to talk about because when I first pulled this out of the package, I thought it was beautiful in terms of the knit and the colors, but I thought this in the skirt, it's not gonna suit me. It's not gonna suit my body. And when I was filming it, my manager said, that's stunning. That's gonna look stunning on you. And I was like, I love it, but I just don't know if it'll suit my body because of the knit, and I carry my weight in my hips and my tush. So I thought it just might not be that flattering. I put it on and I was honestly like, I love this outfit.
And cascade your buttons.
Again, I have no manicure. It really does look like Chanel. Like, it looks like Chanel. And because I actually buy Chanel, and I buy Chanel ready-to-wear, if you guys saw a couple of videos back, I showed you guys my Chanel dress collection. I actually buy Chanel. I'm very familiar with the brand and the aesthetic. And this really does look Chanel. Like, if I wore this to an event, whether you think it's Chanel or not, you definitely think it's something. Like, you think it's something. You think it's from Matches Fashion, or My Teresa, or Luisa Via Roma. Like, you think it's something. It looks like one of those designers at the like 2,000 plus mark. Like, it just looks expensive. I was beyond thrilled and excited when I put this on, and I cannot wait to show you how I actually wear this because I will be wearing it, and I'll definitely get photos for the gram. All right, next I want to show you this piece, which to me is just so Miu Miu. I know with certain fashion houses, you know, the fashion director changes and the whole aesthetic of the brand changes. Kind of like Gucci right now versus Tom Ford at Gucci. Night and day, right? But this to me is like forever Miu Miu. Miu Miu has always had this little feminine aesthetic, you know, the frilly collar, like this little cutesy dress. Like, I just love it. Again, all season because you throw on tights and you make it fall winter. So beautiful, so Miu Miu, so me. I threw this dress on for this lookbook as well. I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right. Is it Cecile, like Cecile Bonson, I think it is. Just such a like cool understated designer where it's just like puffy poplin dresses and tops. This really just gives me that vibe. It looks expensive and it looks chic and it's kind of like you can't really tell. I love that you could belt it and change the whole shape of it or just wear it completely shapeless, which is kind of like the style right now, just like a one and done, throw it on and go, like oversized but still very feminine. Not too oversized, but that's just the vibe. Very that brand that I can't pronounce. And then kind of like what I just told you about that blue and white Chanel looking vibe, this gives me that same energy. Like you can't really tell, like, is this Balmain? Is this like one of those high-end designers? It looks super, super expensive. This is what we're seeing a lot of on the runway and on the luxury fashion websites. If I was wearing this anywhere, especially if you're like a fashion girl and you love fashion, someone is going to think that this is a very expensive piece. Not that you should wear it for someone to think that, but of course it's nice to spend a really low, affordable price on something that looks like it could be like 2,500 bucks. You know what I mean? This is stunning, beautiful, and everything, like every single thing in this collection that I'm showing you today is so my vibe and my aesthetic. One of the pieces I want to tell you about today that is not here with me because it's at the dry cleaners, because I've already worn it, is this unbelievable Jacquemus looking dress. It's got strong shoulders. It's a little oversized, but fitted in the waist. It's got the cutouts. This to me looks uncannily like Jacquemus. It is just so fashion forward. It's exactly what's happening in fashion right now. The shoulders, the cut, even like the length of the sleeve. Like it's all about that oversized blazer look, but then it's cinched and fitted in all the right spots. So Urban Revivo just really, really nailed it on the designer looks for less, because every single piece here looks so expensive to me. I would never in a million years think that these pieces were not designer pieces. Urban Revivo is a brand that if I wasn't working with them, I would 100% be shopping with them regardless, because I absolutely love their pieces, their quality, and their style. So everything will be linked down below, including my discount code. Thank me later. And the top that I'm wearing, also just very, very Chanel vibe. So simple, easy to wear, casual, but also not that cash, just so perfect. So beautiful. All right, jumping right into other items that are getting the look for less. I have a lot of shoes to show you and some clothing items. Number one, let's talk about the Valentino Tango shoes that are so, so popular, so coveted. In fact, I have a pair myself. I bought them early in the season. I think they're stunning. I love that they're sky high. As someone who's 5'2", I can really appreciate this big chunky platform trend. And I know there's a rivalry between the Valentinos and the Versaces. I really think the Valentinos are just more my vibe. One is not better than the other. I just personally prefer the Valentinos. And finally, Steve Madden came out with the most perfect dupe you've probably ever seen. I think when it comes to fashion dupes, this is one of the best, or maybe one of the worst. If you are an avid fashion lover and you have a problem with, lookalikes, I could understand, because this one is almost too good. It's almost too good. These look uncannily like the Valentino Tango pumps. Now, the Valentinos are about $1,500 Canadian after tax, I think, not before tax. And the Steve Maddens are about $150 before tax, $150. They look almost exactly the same. Number two, I want to talk about another pair of shoes, and these are very iconic and I would say classic. They're definitely not a hot it item of the season, because I feel like they're always an it item. They're always relevant in fashion, and they're always a shoe that you're going to see. I'm talking about the Manolo Blahnik Crystal Pump Heel, which was kind of made famous, I feel like, on Sex and the City when Carrie Bradshaw was held up at gunpoint and the guy's like, "Give me your Blahniks. Give me your Blahniks." And she's like, "No, not the shoes." And I feel like before that point, they weren't that famous. And after that episode, they really did become much more famous, and they kind of became a classic and a staple on the fashion scene. So these Manolo crystal pumps, I think, are really beautiful, but they are very, very expensive. And one of the reasons that I wanted to talk about them today is because I actually bought the dupe for these, which is out of character for me. When it comes to shoes, I usually don't like to do a dupe shoe. I like to get like the shoes because they're just something I keep in my, shoe collection for a long, long time, and I like to get the better pair. But I decided that Manolos aren't necessarily the better pair. They're just the more recognizable and luxury pair. These are not new to other people, but they were new to me because I just didn't know that these existed. I came across the Badgley Mishka crystal pump shoe, and the weird thing is I actually liked them a little bit more than the Manolos. I like the shape of them. I tried them on. They're extremely comfortable. I like the colors. They got the royal blue, which is a little bit brighter than the Manolo version, and that's the pair that I bought. But I also want them in black, and I think I also want them in pink because the pink is just such a delicious, beautiful, vibrant shade of pink. It's better than the Manolos, if you ask me. I love the shape of them. They're just a little bit more pointed in the toe, but not too pointy. I think they're a beautiful dupe, an amazing, amazing version of this shoe. And the thing is, there are so many versions of this shoe. Like, a lot of designers do this little crystal square, like Roger Vivier also does that. And of course, there's also many affordable versions of this shoe. But if we're looking at like iconic Manolo style, I would say the Badgley Mishka come the closest, the best quality and aesthetic wise. I just think they're beautiful. Again, super, super comfortable. I totally back these shoes. I own them, and I literally want a couple more pairs. The Manolos are really expensive at about $1,500, and the Badgley Mishkas are a couple $100s, and that's in Canadian dollars. So I think in US, even less than 200. Really good price, really good dupe, really good money-saving option. Number 3, I want to give you guys an option that is not necessarily like super, super affordable. It's definitely still considered like contemporary luxury, but it's a lot cheaper than the alternative, which is Zimmerman. I really want to talk about this brand that I just discovered, and again, this is just me. Many of you might have already known about this brand, but it's kind of new to me. It's called Alame. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. And it looks very, very Zimmerman to me. So I just kind of stumbled across it. I saw it online first, and then I actually saw it in person. It really looks like Zimmerman, and it feels like Zimmerman. And I don't know if they're kind of like a copycat Zimmerman, because they're also an Australian brand. But if you guys have been here for a little while, you know that I absolutely love Zimmerman. I love the aesthetic. I love the fabric, and I love the cuts for my body. There are so many different Zimmerman styles. I'm a huge fan. I even love the swimwear. I'm just a huge, huge fan of Zimmerman. I know it's really popular amongst the influencer crowd, but I just genuinely, genuinely love this brand. It fits my body so beautifully. Truly, truly love it. And I don't always want to spend Zimmerman prices on these dresses that I'm so attracted to, you know, because Zimmerman does have all kinds of different price points. I mean, you could get a dress at like the $800 price point, and then you can get a dress all the way at the $2,500 price point. Again, Canadian dollars. And then I saw Alame, and it was like 5, 6, and like the top end was like $700 kind of dollars. And it really did look like Zimmerman. So I thought I should mention it here today, because even though it's not super affordable, like $50 or $60, it really is a lot more reasonable. Like, the prices are like, you know, you're getting like a very high-end dress at the $500 price point, as opposed to like north of $1,000. So I think it's just like a really good option for like luxury, but not crazy breaking the bank luxury. And it really, really does look like Zimmerman. Number 4, I want to talk about another pair of shoes. And I don't know if I've talked about this shoe designer that much here on YouTube, but lately I've been obsessed with Gianvito Rossi, which I've talked about on Instagram and on TikTok. And if you're not following me on Instagram, you definitely should, because a lot of the items that I talk about, some of my favorites, I always do links in my stories, as well as, you know, the look for less. So I'll show the item, and then sometimes I'll show like a super affordable option, like we talked about the Steve Madden. So, you know, if you love the high or the low, I often do post links in my stories. So I have talked about Gianvito Rossi a lot on Instagram and on TikTok, because I've just really been into this designer. I just think they're sleek and super fashionable, and also they're just not as expensive as some of the other shoes. Like we talked about the Valentinos and the Manolos, both at around the $1,500 mark. Gianvito Rossi is still very expensive at around $700, $800, even $900. But, you know, just, I like staying under $1,000 sometimes. It's just feels a little better, you know what I mean? But I found an even better dupe for the Gianvito Rossis. They look so good. They're so sexy. And I'm talking about Candy shoes. Candy with the K, I believe. I just think they're so sexy and very like Rossi looking. Not Sergio Rossi. I think Gianvito's the son. So very Gianvito Rossi looking and a fraction of the price. However, not super cheap still. So I think Candy shoes are not like considered like super affordable. They're even more expensive than Steve Madden. So they're kind of middle of the road price point wise. I think they're about 200 pounds, but a lot cheaper than the Gianvito Rossi. So I thought it was worth mentioning here today. If you know of a different shoe brand that makes really similar shoes that are much less than these prices, please leave it in the comments. I always love learning more from you guys, but I thought the Candies was a really good option because if you don't want to spend 800 bucks, you're still getting like, I think, a high quality, expensive shoe. So it's not just getting the look for less, but you're just getting the look because, I mean, they are kind of their own look. Does that make sense? Next, I want to talk about the Balmain blazer, specifically the one we've seen the last several seasons, I mean, for a while now. Like just that edgy, angular blazer that has become very, very popular. I think there are so many dupes out there. Zara makes excellent dupes. Excellent dupes when it comes to the Balmain blazer. But the thing is that, again, with Zara, it's just it's sometimes recognizably Zara, even though it is beautiful and very chic. Sometimes you could just kind of tell, I guess, because they do the same thing over and over and over again. However, I do think Zara is an excellent option for blazer dupes, you know, for all kinds of designers, especially this Balmain blazer that I'm talking about today. But I really think that the best dupe for this blazer is by far Lily Silk. Lily Silk makes the most incredible dupe for this blazer because you really just can't tell. The cut is absolutely, I don't know, to the naked eye, the same to me. The buttons look the same. It just looks really, really great. Looks expensive and fashionable. You just can't really tell. I really wanted to mention Lily Silk here today. I've worked with Lily Silk in the past. I think they're such a great company, and I think they really do make luxury clothes that look expensive, but specifically when it comes to this blazer, like this just really looks like Balmain to me. I thought you guys would definitely want to know about this. I've showed you guys this blazer before because I own it and I wear it. I want to mention it again today because it really is such a good dupe. I think it's the best dupe. It for sure does not look like a Zara blazer. It's just a beautiful cut and very like classic and very Balmain looking. So yeah, Lily Silk blazer, such a good one. And because we're kind of on the topic of Zara, I actually have to tell you guys about this because I was shook when I saw this. I actually bought it and I filmed a little reel on Instagram because I was like, I cannot even. Actually, I filmed a TikTok on it too. I bought the Zara outfit that I think has been sweeping the fashion nation because anybody that is an Emilio Pucci lover would see this and think, okay, that's not Pucci. Are you kidding me? I actually saw this not on the Zara website because, as I've told you guys, I have not shopped at Zara pretty much at all in the last 8 months. I'd say like I do buy things here and there from Zara, but so much less. I've talked about this so many times with you guys. I don't need to tell you again. I really don't shop at Zara that much anymore, but I still do dabble. But I don't cruise the website like I used to because it's just counterproductive. I just don't want to consume so much stuff, especially stuff that everybody has, you know? This, though, I actually saw on Instagram. Someone that I follow, so I was fully influenced. I don't even know, like usually I would just look at it, appreciate it, like it, and scroll. But I just like really looked at it. I like saw the tags and it was Zara. And I was like, that's Zara? I like immediately went to the Zara website, found it, and checked out. I was like, oh my gosh, this looks so much like Pucci. I think it's an incredible dupe to the point where, like I said, with the Valentino Tango shoes, it's almost too good. It's almost questionably good. Like, you're really pushing it, Zara. This really does look like Pucci. I mean, so much so that, like, I own several Pucci pieces. I would never, ever not know that this wasn't Pucci if I didn't personally buy it from Zara. Like, if I just saw someone wearing this on the street, there's not a doubt in my mind I would think it was Pucci. So, ooh, kind of questionable. There are really unbelievable dupes on Zara, but it's just that when there are those really good finds, everyone jumps on them, right? So then they become just very recognizably Zara. So there's just that you got to consider, but whew, such a good Pucci dupe. All right, next up, I want to talk about another pair of shoes because, oh my God, it's just shoe crazy this season. There are so many like it shoes of the season. We've talked about these shoes before. I'm once again talking about the Versace platform Bratz style shoes. A lot of people call them the Bratz shoes. I don't know what the actual name of them are, but you know these shoes, they're super popular. For me, okay, they're aesthetically similar to the Valentino Tangos, but they're just a little chunkier. I prefer the Valentinos. There are a lot of dupes for these shoes. I've seen a lot of brands doing these shoes. I would say the best dupe, once again, is Steve Madden. I think with Steve Madden, you're getting a good bang for your buck. You know, similar price point, about $150. I think the Versace price point is similar to the Valentino. So again, you're saving a lot of money. You're getting the look. You definitely can't really tell if they're Versace or not, unless of course you own them, but they just look super, super similar. They also come in the tall boot version with Steve Madden, which is just like a very good alternative to getting this look. The only thing that bothers me with the cheaper options of every single thing that I'm mentioning is that because some of these items are it fashion items of the season, does it become kind of passé next season? And that's what bothers me, right? Because I don't want to consume things and then discard them by the next season. So aside from fast fashion, even high luxury fashion is becoming very, very fast paced. And I think a big problem of that is social media, because these do become like the hot items of the season. And then next season, there's a new hot shoe and everybody's got to get on that. So it creates a lot of consumption from every angle, you know, whether it's consuming a lot of luxury, you know, if you can afford to have every single thing every single season, that's still a lot of consumption, you know, and it's that pressure of like always being in the know, having the latest fashion, being on trend. And, you know, of course, the same with fast fashion. It's so much more easily consumable because it's affordable. So that's my only issue with some of these things. But I do encourage you guys to think before you buy some of these things. You don't need every single thing. Just pick the items that you think you will wear a lot and you will wear going forward. So you don't just consume and then, you know, get rid of it and consume again and get rid of it and like continue with those patterns, because they're just really not the best habits, not good for the environment, not good for the pace in which fashion is going. So we need to always keep that in mind, right? So I really hope you enjoyed this Buy This Not That, getting the designer looks for less, because as much as I love designer, I also love saving money and I love getting the look for less. And I know a lot of you guys like that too. I hope you appreciate some of the things I mentioned here in today's video, and leave me a comment of other designer dupes that you've discovered that are amazing, because I love learning about new items, new brands, and I love doing these videos. So maybe I can include it in my next video for this series. I love you guys so, so much. I really, really appreciate you being here with me. I cannot wait to see you in my next video. So until next time, bye for now.